That's
sick.
such a cool blend of styles.
Yeah, that's actually the first time I've ever heard that song. I've
Oh,
heard a lot of their music. That was Riley's pick.
okay.
That is sweet.
Yeah, their vocalist is insane. He's got so much range.
Yeah, they're another great live band. We've been able to play a couple shows with them. Definitely. Hopefully, we do some more. Archers, if you're watching this, let's play some more shows together.
I could definitely see them just beating it up live, though, for sure.
Yeah, they're great live. We and they've been doing like super well. Like, not a lot of bands, and we're one of them. We're not a band that plays all the time. There's some bands that they're always on the road, and sometimes is it worth it? Is it not worth it? But it's worth it for them. Like, they have people coming out, like lines out the door on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. Like, people are going to their shows and they're doing extremely well. And to my knowledge, it's a lot of like, they're just touring by themselves a lot. I don't think they're like going out with too many bands right now. So it's like their headliner.
Yeah, they kind of.
And seeing them post up, like, just, announcing tours while on tour. And that's sweet. Like, and it's tough. Like, I know for a fact, like, if we were out on tour right now, like, we couldn't do it every single day right now, working up to that point. But yeah, they're killing.
They if you're curious, I checked their bio. They are from Wisconsin, Madison, I believe. One of the things that I thought was super cool is the way that they did that kind of like more pop alt rock kind of like guitar stuff at the very end and kind of in the middle there. Yeah. It's almost reminds me like a little bit of like the same sort of like guitar tones that like Polyphia and bands like that use.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting to have that worked into like this kind of song that's a bit heavier. I thought that was a really cool way of like creating contrast.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Like, Polyphia came to mind for sure. And it's, it's you don't hear in like a lot of heavy music or like the more like modern metal music, like you don't hear as much guitar play. It's not like As I Lay Dying days where it was Kill Switch, As I Lay Dying, and all these syncopated cool riffs, but you can still like find those little nuggets of like really interesting cool guitar playing. Like, that's right there is a great example of a modern take on it, but it fits so well.
And they do definitely have the modern sort of gent style all open note riffs too, which is just super fun. I also thought it was interesting looking at their Spotify bio here, or their one of their other songs that they've released. It looks like they did a lo-fi remix of one of their songs.
Sweet.
Which I think is just such a funny and uniquely internet era thing for bands to do. I mean, you guys did that with like, you had a club remix of Divide, I think, right?
Yeah, we did a synthwave and a club remix solely because I couldn't decide which one was cooler. So we originally were just going for the synthwave one. The club mix he came up with was sick. So I'm like, let's just have both. So both.
Yeah. And like I said, it's such a uniquely internet era thing to do where you're a band that plays this style of metal and then you're just like, well, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just take this and turn it into something else. And, if it doesn't do well, then whatever, who cares? Like, it's something that's part of our library. Well, and if it does do well, then maybe you get an audience from a different style and maybe you can get them to enjoy your other stuff too.
Yeah. It's, some people can look at it and be like, oh, you're, trying to, it's like a reach. Some people think like, oh, you're doing this to try and get these fans from this era. It's like, really, that was fan service for ourselves. Cause like, I mean, myself, like, I love synthwave music. I'm super into like Gunship, Play Rock, bands like that. I'm obviously blanking right now. I'm under pressure, but synthwave music is sick. Like, I'm all about that stuff. It became a thing like on tour where we weren't allowed to listen to heavy music in the van because play it every day, you hear it every single day. The rule was, nope, you gotta do something other than heavy, and that's
anything
how I found
else.
synthwave. So I got super into it and had a buddy. I'll talk on him real quick. He's a really cool dude named Andrew. I met him actually at MSU, like community, like it was like a rock camp. I was like pretty young, and they did this rock camp for a bunch of people in the community, get together under 18, and you can learn, you like basically day one, you meet all these people, form a band, play at the end of the week at Common Ground. And that was like the rock camp, but he was the bass player of the band that ran it. So he knew me from the beginning of not even having Assume Nothing. And then, he was super stoked on like what we've done. And I just reached out to him and had a good talk one time, and he's like, "Hey, let me do a remix for you. Let's try and do something." So just made it happen pretty quickly. So
It's also very, very reflective of just music culture in general in the internet age, in that, like, it used to be, 15, 20 years ago, that it was like everybody had the type of music that they listened to, and it didn't really overlap much. You had the people who listened to, EDM and stuff like that. They didn't really listen to anything else. You had the rap guys. They didn't really listen to metal. You had the metal guys who would sometimes dabble into rap, but that was mostly just through like new metal and stuff like that. And everything's just getting so much more homogenized now.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that it makes for a much better music industry for the artists, because you're free to not be trapped in a box quite so much.
Yeah, I mean, I remember I was, what do you want to say, a purist or whatever, like
it's like a subgenre
just,
snob.
Yeah, just like just totally it was just ignorant, just not.
I mean, yeah, we all were like that at some point, I'm sure.
But yeah, you grow up and you realize, like, hey, this is cool, and it's okay for me to like it.
Yeah, somebody asked me the other day, like, what my favorite, or what was like my guilty pleasure, like with music. And at first, like, I was trying to think about it. Like, normally I used to always have an answer for it. Like, oh yeah, this is my guilty pleasure. Like, I listen to this. Like, not a lot of people expect it. It's like, I'm not guilty about it anymore. Like, good music is good music. Like, I mean, I'm wearing a Dua Lipa shirt right now. Like, Dua Lipa's sick. Who else have I listening to a lot lately? I mean, I threw on like Katy Perry the other day, because it's those songs that just get stuck in your head. And like, I don't know, like nowadays it's okay to listen to a bunch of different kinds of music. I think I saw a video of Margot Robbie, like her favorite band was Bullet for My Valentine growing up.
Yeah.
And she's like talking about that. Like it's not weird to have like a super broad interest in music. And I think it's awesome nowadays. I don't know how it is in like high schools or colleges now, but I'm sure it's a lot more blended than when we were growing up through school.
Yeah, I would have to think so, because it's like I said, music communities cross over so much, and I think that that's just a beautiful byproduct of the internet and everything kind of becoming more homogenized. Yeah. So my next song is speaking of kind of crossover type of stuff. This is a pop rock band called Juice. They do kind of pop rock mixed with hip hop, mixed with, a little bit of like pop punk type stuff. And this song is my favorite from when I kind of did a like deep dive on their music. And this song is called Make Pretend.